A crazy game in Berlin, Germany sees the Colts head into the bye week 8-2. It took overtime. It took a lot of wonky stuff happening, but at the end of it all, when the dust settles, the Colts win, beating the Falcons 31-25 in overtime behind a spectacular Jonathan Taylor performance and a lot more than that to get to. Jake Arthur joins us from, of course, Roundtable Sports and Locked On Colts. Jake, I don't really know where to start. I mean, outside of Jonathan Taylor being a man possessed again, unbelievable game out of him. So much happened in this game. What was your takeaway? Outside of just getting a win, going into the bye week with a win, and maybe the best overseas game of all time in the NFL? Who's to say no?
Maybe, but I mean, for those who say a running back can't win MVP, was this not every reason why Jonathan Taylor probably should be? I mean, the Colts defense for the most part kept kept them together. You know, the Colts, as has been plaguing them the last couple weeks, turning the ball over, allowing a ton of sacks, yada yada yada. But Jonathan Taylor coming in almost 300 yards of offense, three touchdowns. That's his fifth three touchdown game this season, Dom. Like that's crazy. And then it's like he's competing with himself in history right now. He passes Edgerrin James for the franchise record for rushing touchdowns. Franchise record. Like that's a franchise that has Edgerrin James, Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, Raymond Berry, like or Lenny Moore. Like the list goes on. And Jonathan is just he's just rewriting the history books every week. And this feel at times this game felt like 2021 where if the Colts were going to win it, it was gonna have to be because of Jonathan Taylor, because there just wasn't a ton else working right. But you know, Daniel Jones whips it back together, makes it a couple timely throws that had to happen. He's got a bloody mouth, you know, an image that will live on in Colts lore as, of course, this game comes out in the Colts' favor.
Yeah.
So that could be a positive takeaway. But no, the things that needed to swing right in the last 10 minutes or so of the game certainly did.
Fourth time in his career, he's gone over 1,000 yards, Jonathan Taylor. 32 carries, 244 yards, three touchdowns. And the way he breaks Edgerrin James's franchise record is an 83-yard
Yeah.
touchdown to take the lead down the stretch of the game. Obviously, the Falcons go down and score. But then what struck me was, once the Colts are like comfortably in field goal range in overtime, the Falcons knew they were giving the ball to Jonathan Taylor and just
Yeah.
like could not stop him. Really impressive stuff. 32 carries, ridiculous. 244 yards, like I said, almost 300 yards of offense, like you said. So outside of Jonathan Taylor being spectacular and ridiculous in 5 games now, like you said, of 3+ touchdowns on the year, which is insane and much deserved bye week for him and this Colts offense
Yeah.
getting a breather. It just kind of felt like, Colts started pretty well. That touchdown to Alec Pierce was a great play. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor was doing his thing, but it just kind of felt clunky, I guess. I don't know. Like, what was your takeaways from a tough performance from the offensive line? That's back-to-back weeks now. And Daniel Jones just kind of having trouble taking care of the ball, even though it was just one fumble. It was more than that, right? And obviously, I don't know if I'll hold the interception against him, but what was your take? It felt like a clunky day offensively, and you'd much rather that happen in a win than go into the bye week and have 2 weeks to talk about everything that was poor in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few things to address here. I guess we'll start with the offensive line. 7 sacks. Like, there's no way to paint that as a yeah, but like that's just unacceptable, especially after what happened against Pittsburgh last week. I don't know. I just think between coaching and player execution, there it's all going wrong there right now. So Atlanta's an aggressive defense. They bring pressure. There were times where they were obviously bringing pressure and we're going to have the advantage on numbers. And the Colts just didn't adequately put enough bodies out there to protect Jones. Now, sometimes you just can't. Like when you're bringing the house, you can't like match that amount. But there were times where there just wasn't even an extra blocker brought in. You know what I mean? Jones has got to be better about getting rid of the ball when it's clearly going to be a blitz.
Yeah.
If you're gonna just ground it to a nearby receiver, something other than taking like a huge sack detrimental to a drive. Defenders clearly know that the way he is securing the ball is not adequate whatsoever. There's now tape out there where every defender who is nearby Daniel Jones, you better be swatting at the ball because he's giving it up. That's numerous sack fumbles for him now. The interception wasn't great, but we have seen him try and press and make a play when it's maybe not there or just a bad throw. So the interception, again, it wasn't great. He probably should have just put more air under it, what have you.
Especially,
But
especially end of half, end of game, we've seen that happen.
yeah, the Colts, even when they score points at the end of the half, it's always weird. Like it's an adventure at the end of the first half every time. But then yeah, Jones himself, I'm impressed he was able to shake it off because last week we just saw like one mistake becomes another and then it snowballs out of control. But he was able, again, like I mentioned, to kind of pull it together to make some timely throws. His runs to,
Mhm.
maybe if not even converting a first down, just getting it into third and fourth or manageable rather than being like third and 12 or what have you. Um, the team just showed a lot of grit, and this was the kind of test you need if you're gonna go far in the playoffs. You kind of steal wins like this, and we
Yeah.
just wrapped up our Locked On Colts postgame show. Zach mentioned that teams like the Chiefs and stuff like even when it seems they're not playing well, they still wind up with 12, 13 wins, whatever. It's because they steal these nasty wins. And that's kind of what the Colts are doing right now, save for last week against the Steelers. They managed to steal one this week.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Winning ugly. There's something to be said about that. No, they didn't play. It was clear to me they were the better team. I don't
Yeah.
know if Falcons offensively was just kind of tough sometimes, and Penix missing some throws, and like I don't know, maybe give it to Bijan Robinson a little more. In my opinion, I don't know.
Yeah.
But one Jones's legs crucial. I mean, one of those sacks where again, two or three times taking a sack, you just can't take in situations where you just can't take them. Way back, runs it for what, 20 yards to set up that 4th and 2, and then that
hmm
unbelievable grab by Tyler Warren. Like those are game shifting plays. I don't even know how you bloody your lip through a face mask. I'm not quite sure,
I think
but
he hit it on the bench.
yeah,
It
okay,
looked like that play where he flew out of bounds and hit the
yeah,
bench. I think that's what happened. But
yeah, that looked painful, and he seemed to be in some pain. I think the bye week came at a good time for everybody, but
yeah.
um, Colts steal it, and again, Jonathan Taylor was just tremendous down the stretch of this game. Defensively, all right, Sauce Gardner's first time in a Colts uniform, and no DeForest Buckner, which I feel like was definitely felt in this game. I do feel like I do agree with you though. It feels like the defense steadied the ship a little bit when offense was kind of going through some stuff. What was your takeaways of that side of the ball? Felt like the Colts got home a little bit. It felt like Sauce was, I mean, he was in the mix. He made a pretty huge pass breakup. Cam Bynum had a big sack early in this game, strip sack. So there's definitely some plays. Just your thoughts on that side of the ball there without DeForest and then with Sauce's first action.
Yeah, overall, I thought they did a nice job of not letting Atlanta get it out of control on the ground. Like Tyler Algier did some great things. Bijan had a couple really nice plays as well. But there were plenty of times where the Colts, early in a series or early in a set of downs, were able to get a positive play for themselves that kind of put Atlanta behind the sticks
Mhm.
and behind in the drive, which certainly helped. There was a big play by Mekhi Blackman where he blows up Robinson in the backfield on that quick flare out. So that stuff was good. So with Sauce, there was obviously some good, some bad. I think he was probably connected to the play where Drake London gets that 16-yard touchdown, which of course, like good on him for being prepared enough to play and start the entire game today. But there's just going to be some intricacies of like switching off coverages and things like that where I clearly don't think Jermaine Pratt was designed to go against Drake London on that
Yeah,
play.
right.
And then
Yeah,
he loses his footing on the 2-point conversion,
yeah,
which happens. Like, what can you say? Like, just don't do that. Like, he didn't want to do that.
right.
Um, Overall, I think him being out there certainly you could tell Lou Anarumo was more comfortable bringing pressures because he has just an elite cover guy back there. So it's not just Sauce's direct performance. That is always going to be the thing that you could tell. It's not like a box score thing all the time, but just what your play caller and Anarumo feels comfortable doing because of Gardner's presence. That certainly helps. I mean, on third downs especially, like the pressure the Colts were able to bring was really, really effective. And I don't think that they feel like throwing the same recipe out there if it's Jalen Jones and Mekhi Blackman as your top two corners in that game.
Yeah. Falcons 0 of 8 on third downs in
Hmm.
this game. I do feel like you felt that. I do feel like you felt more pressures coming
Hmm.
with Sauce Gardner out there, and hopefully Charvarius Ward is back sooner rather than later. Again,
Hmm.
I can't say it enough. Bye week's coming at a great time. 8-2. I don't think anybody would have said the Colts would be 8-2 at the bye week, and with a humongous game after the bye week. And another reason why it's coming at a great time, going to Kansas City here in a couple weeks. Um, I guess we need to talk about Badgley and his interesting game, missing a PAT and then missing a 53-yard field goal short. To his credit, tied the game, forced overtime. Got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, you got to make that. He made it, so good on him. But 4 points loomed large in this football game and kind of made the Colts have to adjust how they were playing and some fourth down opportunities that maybe they wouldn't otherwise have gone for too when looking at worrying about Michael Badgley. So is this a situation where, I mean, do you make a change in the bye week? Is it that drastic? I mean, you just don't see NFL kickers miss a 53-yarder short. And I think that's a cause for concern. And you saw it on social media, people were concerned. Colts fans were.
Yeah, there's going to be some of these games that are super close. And I think
Right.
we're all comfortable saying the Colts will be in the playoffs. But when you're jockeying for position and you've got matchups against the Seahawks and the 49ers, and you still got four division games remaining with the Jaguars and Texans,
Mhm.
every point is going to matter. And like a 53-yarder going short, you can excuse because like if the guy just doesn't have the leg strength, then the team should know that. But missing two extra points now in his brief time with the team, that's tough. Like
Yeah.
that's stuff you cannot get by
No.
without making. Like if there's a suitable option out there for the Colts, I'd have to look at it and see what free agents are out there. Then I think it'd be reasonable for them to inspect that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't just go ahead and send him packing without having a better option right now because like he's gonna make more than he misses, which is a low bar for NFL kickers. But like I definitely his status deserves to be looked into if I'm the Colts.
Yes, I think that's a good way of putting it. Like he's made it impossible not to audit what
Yeah.
is out there and what the situation is because uh, in the playoffs and against teams like Kansas City, Seattle, San Francisco, like you mentioned, having a guy who can make 55 plus consistently is huge. Like puts you at such ease. And we know how much James Lycan likes to go for on fourth down, and that's
Hmm.
great. But maybe not having to do that all the time would also be okay as well. And
Yeah.
taking the points, and having confidence in taking the points, I think is definitely so. That's a bit of a negative too on the day. But again, made the field goal when he needed to make it. Got to give him credit
Yeah.
there. So Colts 500 yards plus of offense. Jonathan Taylor again, just an outrageous stat line, and 31-25 winners. Jake, any other thoughts on this game just as we head into the bye week or the season at large? I mean, gritty win, truly, and that's a culture type. I mean, Atlanta's a good team, right? I mean, they kicked the
Hmm.
crap out of Buffalo at home. They've had a weird season. They have a lot of good playmakers, but on the road, I mean, literally overseas, that's an impressive win.
No, I'm still very bullish on this Colts team. Again, there's no one else in the NFL really running away with it. The Colts can still be any team any week. It would just be good for the Colts to kind of figure out some of their issues coming up.
Yeah.
We haven't talked since DeForest Buckner landed on IR, but hopefully he gets back before the season. But when you come out of the bye, you're hopefully going to have Sauce Gardner and Charvarius Ward as your starting corners, which incredible luxury that not every team has. You will get Buckner back at some point, hopefully, again before the season ends. I think week 15 is the earliest he can come back. So you're going to get those two huge pieces back. to a defense that's already playing mostly well.
Mhm.
And then offensively, like if everything is so correctable for the most part, like offensive line, I'm confident they can at least make some progress. Like they were outstanding earlier in the year.
Right.
Not every week is going to look like this, but like understand now that there's tape out there that defenses know to bring heavy pressure against you because it's going to
Yes.
probably work. So Jones, take care of the ball better. Like you're going to take sacks, that's going to happen, but don't lose the ball, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, God, that's really it. Like turning the ball over in sacks and these untimely penalties has really been the big problem for the offense. It's all very correctable stuff.
Yeah.
So the defense, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you're about to get some reinforcements. Offensively, you don't have to put up 400 or 500 yards of offense every time. Just don't keep making these crazy mistakes.
Right.
That's kind of what it comes down to for me.
Right. They overcame them today. I do agree. I feel like the defense has taken like incremental stacking weeks, like getting
Hmm.
better. And Travis Ward's presence will definitely help that.
Yeah.
It is worth noting DeForest Buckner's absence was felt and probably will be felt, especially in a game like Kansas City coming up. So that's tough.
Yeah.
But hopefully get him back. Hopefully Ward comes back sooner rather than later. And yeah, it is worth mentioning again, as you said, the offensive line that's back-to-back weeks now struggling. And I like the point you made. There's tape out there that sending pressure is baffling not only the offensive line, but Daniel Jones is like not throwing it away slash losing the football. And
Yeah.
that needs to cease like pretty immediately, I would say. So,
Yeah.
but hey, it's all good. 8-2. We forget about it. Rearview mirror. Colts are headed into the bye week and are atop the AFC South and still sitting top of the league. Them and the Patriots. It looks like Patriots the last check win in that game. So appreciate you, Jake. Enjoy your bye week, my friend. I know I certainly will.
Yeah.
So we didn't go to Germany, but we'll still give you the analysis that we know you need. That's what we do here. So that's Jake Arthur, Dominic Miranda. Keep it locked on Channel 13 and on WTHR Plus for all your Colts coverage. See you next time.